Good evening. There are thousands of satellites in orbit around the Earth. They do lots of important jobs. They give us satellite TV, they give us our position on our phones by GPS, they relay internet traffic and telephone conversations from one continent to another. They also look down on the Earth below, looking at the sea, at the land and the atmosphere, and they look out into space. But there is one satellite that is far larger than any other. It's so large that people actually go and live there for months at a time. It's the International Space Station, or ISS. And tonight, we're going to see if we can get it on the camera. You can get predictions when the ISS is going to be visible on various websites. The one I use is called heavens-above.com, and you put in where you live and it will give you the predictions for when various satellites, not just the space station, are going to go over and be visible from where you are. Satellites are only visible because even though it's dark down here, they are still in sunlight up there in orbit. And it is the sunlight reflecting from them that enables us to see them. Now I'm now going to walk and get behind the camera so I can actually see the space station approaching, and I'll carry on talking from behind the camera. So the space station is due to appear in just a couple of minutes, and it's going to be coming up or more or less in the centre of the camera field of view from the bottom straight up. You can see Venus very bright above and to the right of the centre of the field of view, and the space station is going to pass to the left of Venus, and I'm slowly going to tilt the camera up as time goes on to follow the space station as it moves. Now the space station is about 260 miles above the Earth. Its orbit is not perfectly circular, but very nearly, and it goes round the Earth every 93 minutes. And what we're going to be seeing is the space station initially a long way away from us, and then as it gets closer and rises higher in the sky, it will get brighter because it's getting nearer to us. Now the space station is the size of a soccer pitch, a full-size soccer pitch. The main truss, which is the backbone of the space station and has the large solar panel arrays at either end, that is as long as 13 double-decker buses, one behind the other. So it's a really big structure, and up to 6 astronauts can live and work there for months at a time. They arrive usually in crews of 3, launched up to now by the trusty Russian Soyuz booster in their Soyuz craft. So we're coming up to the time when the space station should be getting into the field of view. It's initially going to be quite faint, it'll be fairly low down above the trees in the distance there, and when I can see it I will say so, and we'll see just how it moves. So it will not be quite as bright as Venus. Now it's just appeared above the top of the trees, and while I've been talking, a fox has just gone and walked about 3 or 4 meters in front of me. So here comes the space station. It's just coming up above that distant tree at the moment, and it's moving almost straight up in the field of view, and it won't be quite as bright as Venus when it's at its best. It's currently about as bright as some of the brighter stars in the sky, but you should be able to see it in a moment. Its movement across the sky initially is quite slow because it's a long way away, but as it gets closer to us and rises higher in the sky, then its apparent motion across the sky will become more rapid and it will brighten. Now it's currently below and to the left of the brilliant Venus, around about the 7 o'clock position to Venus now, and it's really beginning to brighten very obviously at this time. Now the space station is travelling in orbit at about 17,000 miles an hour. That's nearly 5 miles a second. And it's now just level with Venus. It's to the left of Venus now, and it's now getting brighter as it goes, and it's going to pass very, very close to the Pleiades star cluster, the Seven Sisters, which are just above it at the moment. So you can see the space station rising higher in the sky there. And I'm just going to tilt the camera up now to sort of keep it in the middle of the field of view. There we go. So the space station is now moving a lot higher in the sky, and you should be able to see it quite easily now. It's, as I say, still not as bright as Venus, but it's now brighter than any of the naked eye stars. Probably about as bright as Sirius, the brightest star at the moment, even though that's not shown in the camera field of view. And I'll tilt the field of view up a bit more so that we can continue to follow it. Now, there's a fairly bright star directly overhead, and that's Capella in the constellation of Auriga the Charioteer, and it's going to pass just to the left of Capella. Its angular motion now becoming quite rapid, so I'm going to carry on tilting it up. So it's now almost directly above me, so that's 260 miles above my head at the moment, and I'm seeing the light reflecting from those large solar panels down to me. Remember, the space station's still in sunlight even though it's dark down here. And I'm just going to tilt it now one final time, and we'll slowly see it go out of the field of view to behind me. Now, at the moment, the space station is visible in the evening sky, and it will be until the 4th of April. There'll then be a period of 24 days when we won't be able to see it from the United Kingdom, but then from the 28th of April onwards and right the way through May, it'll start by being visible in the morning sky, and then slowly it will get earlier and earlier, and eventually by the end of May it'll be visible in the evening sky. So I do hope you get a chance to see the International Space Station at some stage in the near future.